now we get to issuing bonds payable. And if you remember from the first video on bonds, there is a time lag between when the bond indenture agreement is completed and when the bonds are issued. So on that bond indenture agreement, it tells the face value of the bond and the stated interest rate. In other words, the interest rate that we're going to pay our happy bondholders. So because of the market conditions, the bonds, when we sell them on the market, we have to take whatever the market is paying that day. There's three things that can happen. The bond issue price can equal the face value of the bond. What does that mean? That means the proceeds, what we get, the money we get when we issue the bond, will equal what we have to pay back when the bond is at its maturity. In other words, we get cash of $100,000 and we will pay back $100,000. Okay. Second scenario, the bond issue price can be less than the face value of the bond. In other words, the proceeds we get, the cash we get when we issue the bond because of market conditions, is $98,000. We still have to pay back $100,000 when that bond comes due. Okay, the third scenario, this is kind of more of a happy one. The bond issue price, what we get when we sell this bond on the open market, is greater than the face value of the bond, which is the amount we have to pay back. So we get cash of $102,000. We only have to pay back $100,000. Okay, we know that we cannot leave journal entries in that shape, and so what we do is, for the second scenario where we didn't get quite as much cash, we say that we sold those bonds at a discount. So we go cash, we receive 98, we got to pay back 100,000, and we debit discount on bonds payable. In the happier scenario where we receive the cash of 102, we say these bonds were issued at a premium. So we debit our cash and we credit our premium, the 2,000, and we pay back the 100,000 bond payable. Okay, so why does this happen? Basically, why would somebody be willing to pay less than the face value of our bond or pay more than the face value? And it has to do with the difference between the stated interest rate, okay, so our stated interest rate that's on the bond indenture agreement, and that's what we're willing to pay our customers, and the market rate. So you have the stated rate and the market interest rate. The market interest rate is kind of what bonds similar to ours are paying in the market. So if our interest rate, in this case, the interest rates would be equal. Okay, the stated interest rate is going to be equal to the market rate because our bonds are selling at their face value. In this case, where our bond issue price is less than the face value, chances are our stated interest rate is going to be less than the market rate. Because in other words, other bonds on the market are paying a little better interest rate, and so in order to sell our bonds, we have to sell them at a discount. And here, our stated rate is probably a little higher. The stated interest is going to be higher than the market rate because people are willing to pay more for our bonds than for other bonds of similar risk on the market. Okay, so, the bond issue terminology. When we issue the bonds and we get the same amount of cash as we have to pay back, we say the bonds were issued at face value. In this case, where there's a discount involved, we would say the bonds were issued at 98, okay? They're issued at 98. And that means at 98%, that equals 98% of their face value. So you take the 100,000 times 0.98, and that gives you the amount of cash that you would receive. These would have been issued at 102. So issued at 102, that means that we multiply the face value times 1.02. Here we would multiply by 0.98 to get the bond proceeds. And so that's about what you need to know to start working through some of the homework on bonds. The next podcast, or the next video, will be on issuing bonds at face value, and we'll see how to pay the interest on them as well.